Good evening. It's Monday, April 27th, 2020, and I want to remember uh, my friend Marla Miller, um, who I met in New York City in the late 1970s, probably, I think the year was 1979, because that was the year Phil Osterman was producing and directing the 1979 revival of the musical Funny Girl. And I had assisted Phil with numerous productions prior to that time. I helped him with the production of Relatively Speaking that he directed with the MGM screen legend Myrna Loy. The year before that, he produced and directed a revival of Guys and Dolls that subsequently went on a national tour. Well, now I was assisting him with the casting of Funny Girl. And it was a big production. And, there was the chorus being hired, all of the, I remember the actors auditioning for the role of Nikki Arnstein and Fanny Brice's mother, and all those little old Jewish ladies in the musical and all. And, of course, the pivotal role of Fanny Brice. And Marla came in to audition, and she was this tiny little powerhouse of a singer, actress. She was just wonderful. And Phil Castor. And Marla and I became very good friends during that production, during the rehearsal process and on tour and all. She was a very talented young woman. She had her issues. She was very insecure, and I helped her certainly in that production of Funny Girl. She carries the show, and she was wonderful, just wonderful, and got great reviews in the production all up and down the East Coast and all. And when the production finished, the producers had to bring the cast back. I think we closed in North Carolina somewhere, and they were required to get us all back to our homes in New York City and all. Well, I decided that I needed a break from Manhattan after living and working there for several years and all. So I asked the producer if he would fly me back to Dallas, where my family was living. And he said yes, so I went back to Dallas, and I'm glad that I did, because as it turned out, my mother, who was living there, only lived another year after that. So I got to be with her in the last year of her life, and I was her primary caretaker. And she died in May of 1981, and I was in deep, deep grief, having lost my mother and all. And I remember writing to Marla, who I stayed in touch with and all. And I guess I invited Marla to come to Dallas, where I was living. She needed a break from New York as well, New York is a wonderful place, but it's also a challenging place, especially for young, struggling actors and all. So Marla came to visit me and to stay, an extended stay. It wasn't a vacation, after my mother died, and we moved into an apartment together in a beautiful area of Dallas called White Rock Lake. And we had this wonderful, perfect apartment. It was very large with 2 bedrooms, one on opposite sides of each other, so there was plenty of room for both of us and all. And I was working at a local community college, Eastfield College, and one day I got a telephone call. I was in the working in the registrar's office, and it was Marla's girlfriend. Her name was Joan. I don't know how she got my telephone number at Eastfield College and all, but she did. And she called me and told me that she wanted to come and visit Marla in Dallas, but she wanted it to be a surprise. Would I help her with this surprise? I said, oh yeah, it sounds like fun. So without telling Marla or anything, I got all of Joan's travel arrangements and all, and met her flight when it arrived at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, picked her up at the airport. I think I was driving a little yellow Pinto or something at the time. I don't remember. Anyway, so she arrived in the afternoon, whatever day it was, and we're driving to our home at White Rock Lake, and so we knocked on the door. I I won't forget this, and I'm not making it up. And Marla answers the door, and she's like all out of breath, and her hair is all askew. And she sees Joan standing there, and she slams the door. And what's going on, So it turned out that Marla was entertaining her latest girlfriend in Dallas, which I didn't know about. I didn't know. What do I know about lesbians? So apparently this young woman, who I think Marla had met at a gym or something, throwing clothes on and going out the patio door, the back door and all. And then Joan coming in. Well, it was pretty obvious. I mean, there was no hiding the fact. And then, so there was that. Surprise! Yeah, I don't think they had a visit and all of that, but I think that might have been the end of the relationship. I don't know. So, yeah, not didn't do a lot more surprise visits after that, but we had a wonderful time. I loved Marla very, very much, and wherever she's at in the world, I hope she's doing well. Be fabulous.